Is it hard to access affordable, healthy food? Then listen carefully. Darral Addison, an African-American inventor, has patented a process for growing food on demand. He called it Torpedopot. Torpedopot is a fully automated flower pot that gives you control over your plant's environment. All you do is add soil, seeds, and plants to the flower pot and watch it grow. Yes, Torpedopot grows the rest. Visit www.torpedopot.com.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I know you have seen, many of, the ads that may pop up from one business called Torpedopot. And today we're here with the owner of Torpedopot, Mr. Darral Addison. I want you to, definitely listen to his, story and product. I believe it's something that we all could benefit from at this day and time, especially with all these food shortages. So, Darral, thanks for joining the show today.
Thank you for having me, Phil.
All right, so Darral, just tell people just a little bit, how you got started and what led you to, having this system where you can grow, your own food.
It started out at home because I love gardening. And so I started to devise a system for myself that will grow food without any human intervention. That all I do is drop up and drop seeds in and have the food grow by itself. Not only just grow, but to grow it healthier and better than any other place in the world. And that's what kicked off this invention is, my own personal needs. Then I realized that I could meet the needs of many other people from many nations, groups. We got planters that can operate in Mexico. At the same time, we have planters that operate inside of South America, as well as up north in Iceland or whatever we choose to do. So we now broaden our horizons out to get the right materials and get the right technology and the chemistry and everything else down packed, so that now everyone can grow their food. But it started out as home, and then we broadened itself out to meet the needs of the world.
Okay, so when you started the company and everything just started taking off, how was it, with that growth? Because I know growth, sometimes you have to, employ more people. Sometimes you got to get more material. So how did it take off for you with the growth? Because, it seems like, y'all starting to do good now.
Yeah, we go through different stages of growth. The first stage of growth that we go through is, first of all, making sure our designs are working correctly. The second stage of growth is sending a final product out, making sure that it works and all the consumers are happy with it. The third stage of growth now looks at how to broaden ourselves out. But our growth has been phenomenal in that all of the plans that we set up and our methodologies for growth have been pretty good, doing pretty good. We had an offer for Amazon to be their Black Founder of the Year. We turned that down because not only do we grow food, but we have our own blockchain and we have our own, as I would say, network presence. So we're growing in many different ways. But the best way that we're growing is that we're creating thousands of jobs. And you're going to hear more about that in the future.
All right. So you say Amazon, they tried to make a deal with you. With the Amazon deal, where they basically either would buy you out or what they were trying to do, take over?
Well, what it was is that when you have a company and you already have people following you and you've got a great product, everybody wants to get on board. So, which I'm very grateful. Amazon saw an opportunity to open up Black Founder of the Year, and they wanted me to be a part of that. And they told me you can be very rich, which I'm very grateful for. I'm not throwing any of this to the curb. But this was coming out of the pandemic, and, to be very truthful, I told Amazon, I said, hold it, let me get this right now. You made billions of dollars off of the small businesses across the United States. You shut them down, you do all this stuff. And the only thing you're going to give me in return is that you're going to help me to be your Founder of the Year, to increase your network, which I think that's appropriate if it had been done correctly. But I told them, no, I'm not interested in that. I can make more money by creating thousands of businesses in my local community, allowing people to profit. Instead of going to Amazon, they would go into the hands of the mothers and fathers and the young men who want to be able to take that opportunity on.
And that's very smart that you did that, because Amazon, they have a business practice. Basically, they say they'd have got you in there and they would have learned your system and then they would have copied your system and sold it cheaper.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that out. I have 5 degrees. I've written 10 books. I have multiple corporations. We had enough godly sense to sit down and get this concept patented. We have patented. We're closing out a utility patents. We have a design patents. So the system that you're looking at right now for Torpedopot, it's like nothing else in the world. You won't find anything that can grow the abundant amount of food that we can. We took 10 planters and were able to grow 2,000 peppers just from 10 planters, fully automated, no human intervention. We can grow 35 eggplants per one, just 2 feet. So no other system in the world can do that. So with those numbers, that makes us, that enables us to not only just go from a big box seller like Amazon, but to go down to, and Lowe's reached out to us also. But our goal is to get down to everyday people like you and me who are trying to make it and who need extra money and who can develop their own business. And that's what we're about.
So now you mentioned 2 major corporations that have been coming to you about, your product, and you can grow all this food. Now let's go to where some people like to go a little bit, because you know how the folks move. So you got all this food you can grow on your own. You got a system. They want it. So have you been getting more offers? Because you know how they are. They always want to try to buy out our businesses. And oh yeah, here's some money. But they gonna make way more than what you ever would have made off of it.
We are in negotiations with companies that are looking upwards of about $250 million and above. They realize that our growing solutions could meet the needs of millions of people. Actually, we can end food poverty if we wanted to in 5 years in any one region. That's how good we are. So we're just trying to find out who we want to be in bed with in order to make this opportunity. But what we're doing is this. Within the next coming, we're working to reinvent ourselves because that's part of the growth. With the growth, it comes to reinvent. And we eventually are going to open up, like I shared with you, Phil, probably close to 1 million new stores where then I'm going to give each one of your customers a link. All they do is send the link out on the web space and they automatically get paid for all the sales that are associated with that link. And that's how we're going to sign up our new customers to push. We want to push the revitalization, the change back down into our neighborhoods where it belongs. Does it belong in corporate America? It belongs in your hands.
So is there any Black companies that's trying to work with you? Because, I'm a firm believer that why can't we partner with each other? Even if it's, a Black company could be in the Caribbean, could be in the continent of Africa, somewhere. Have any Black companies trying to partner with you?
Not yet. Most Black companies are struggling within themselves. And also, we're in an area, we're out here by ourselves as an African American owned company. So nobody really shares this space with us. No Black, no white. This is a brand new concept, new patents, new ideas, new books, new methodologies. All of these things are new. So with that in mind, this being able to work for people and to show them how this works, how the business model works, takes time. But we're patient and we're going to wait until we find out the right partners to work with.
Now, since you have Torpedopot, let me ask you a question. When's the last time you've been to the grocery store to buy any kind of fruits or vegetables?
Oh, I don't. The last time I've been, my wife went and got some mangoes because they were off season. I love mangoes. And I got some watermelon. But besides that, I have all. And Phil, thank you for asking that question. But it's not even just access to foods and vegetables. It's access to nutrition. I don't have to go to GNC and buy all these pills. Where do these pills come from? They come from plants, the ones that are growing behind me. I keep my health. I keep my strength because all my medicine and everything I have is right here on my site. I can choose any ingredients of nutrients that I want to eat to supplement my diet. Most of people are sick because they're not supplemented correctly. And even if they get supplements from the store, most of those are synthetic pills. They're made in a laboratory, extracted from plants, and then made in a laboratory. So there is a big game at stake here besides just having food. But no, sir, not at all. I don't I don't buy the artificial food in the supermarkets. I was in a meeting the other day with a bunch of big board. Some of these people that I speak to have consulted Congress on the direction they should go to when it comes to food supply. That's how big these people are. But I sat down and asked them, I said, well, listen, I bet you that I was being conservative, being nice. I said, I bet you that 70% of you haven't had healthy food in a long time. And they corrected me. They said, you're wrong. And they're defending their industry. And you know what they told me? It's more like 90% of us. The food that you're getting at the supermarkets, they grow, they look big. That's called cellular growth. They don't have the bioactivity to give your food the nutrients to cause a lot of the bodily functions to work. That's the food that's being sold. So no, we beat it across the board. We're not worried about anything at all.
So now you say you're talking to people that's being connected to the government. Is they trying to work with you now too? You mentioned now the government. The government, that's a whole different ball game. It's endless amount of cash with them.
Yeah, it really is. But when I say government, these are main like individuals who are making propositions to the government to move in particular areas. Like for instance, our agriculture department is so big and is so cumbersome that it can't make changes automatically to produce healthy food. And so you get a lot of people who are consultants that come in and they guide the government into making good choices within their own interests. Again, these are all financial interests. We live in a capitalistic society. So, but yeah, there's big money. But the problem is we're not worried about the big money. What we're trying to do now to structure it is two things I'm looking for. And I don't know if I'm going to get it or not. One is that I want, because with the new concepts that we have for growth, I really want to be in the halls of the Department of Agriculture. I want to be one of the founders of change that has brought in this new change all across the world. And I want to be represented in the country where I came from. I want to be there. That's number one. But we have other demands that we're working with also to work with these groups.
Now, with young people, mention that. I don't know. Do you have any sons or daughters?
Oh, yeah, certainly do.
Okay. Are they in the business with you? Do they know the system?
Yeah, they're not in the business with me, besides what we decide to do together. I'm a firm believer that when you develop a business, you should never pull somebody into something that you created unless there is a potential for profit for them and their families and their goals and their long-term objectives. So when the time is right, some sons are in the stock market, others are doing different things, but we all work together and we all have our goals. We believe that eventually all of these goals can be brought together. If we all achieve the best that we can be, they will come together and it will work out.
Well, the reason why I asked that question is because, I'm hearing you talk about, certain amounts of money being, thrown your way or different deals. And let's just call it what it is. We all, one day may not be here. That's all of us.
Right.
And when something you created, I don't want your thing that you created to be passed to somebody, to sold to some company or whatever, because how the people keep their money is by keeping it in the family,
right?
So it could be a son or daughter, it could be a nephew, it could be somebody in the family where they can keep the work going, and building your legacy even bigger and bigger and bigger.
That's very true. Right now, part of the growth is to reach our tentacles out, but mainly the people that we're looking for are technical people, growers. To share with them the growing paradigm. But in order to do that, and Phil, and I've heard you say this in your show many times, it takes a village to raise a child.
Yeah.
And so if you don't have the support of your village, you're going to die regardless of whatever happens, irrespective. Right. I mean, we just, I don't mean to purport anything, but Kevin Samuels just passed away. Mm-hmm. And good or bad, you still lose a lot of wealth of information. And these things take place, but that's part of the building process that takes place. So my belief is that even though I'm reaching out, it's only one of me, and I have a husband. I'm a husband of a wife, and she's more important to me than anything else in the world. So I can only do what I can do and get the word out there to those who looking for investments. I was speaking with Dr. Boyce Watkins' executive team yesterday, and they want me to do their show on entrepreneurship, how to develop entrepreneurs. And that's what we're putting together right now, in addition to having them invest in certain parts of the business if they're interested. But, it takes time to build a village. But when it comes together, you best believe it's going to come together the right way. And ain't nobody going to take it away. Because eating food is something that we all need. It's not a business plan. Eating food is a necessity.
Now, let me ask you a question. Have you started to get into the African market? Because it could be a lot of people, especially in certain rural areas in the continent of Africa, that could really benefit, off of this, or even people that live in the cities. Like, have you got into the African market?
Yeah, we have. We're actually in a couple of places in Africa, and we have a number of distributors that we've already identified in Africa. One of the problems that we have with Africa is that at least in the United States, it's a strong a judiciary system that supports capitalism. It's not as well defined in Africa yet. So we've got to wait until the right people, the right protection is in place. Because once we unleash now, even though we could sell our planters and people can duplicate the planters, the problem is that the technology, they don't understand how the technology works. They don't understand plants. To put together our systems, it requires a knowledge of electrical engineering, botany, agronomy, material science, plastics, plumbing, flow pressure. It deals with electronics. You deal with so many different areas, accounting, and all these other things that manage a business. And, unless you come to the table and put all this to bear on the product, then you can do all you want to, it still won't take off. We know that. We're experts at growers. So in due time, once Africa, we find the right leaders who are willing to come, we're 2 levels down for meeting there's some key people in Africa, 2 levels down from meeting them at this point. And we just have to wait for our time. We know it's going to come, but we want to be able to integrate a much of us together, business-minded thinkers together. So when the wave does come, that wave will build itself into the business and we won't be fumbling around trying to find out which way direction to go into. So it takes time to build a business.
Well, yeah, definitely, of course. I just asked that question because I know Johannesburg, I recently went there, and I think Johannesburg would be a good city to do something in, because it's just the ease, it's kind of like the ease of doing business, and it's kind of similar to what we kind of used to a little bit.
Yeah.
And so that's why I just kind of asked that question.
No, thank you for
people
that
need
question.
food all over the world.
Thank you so much for asking that question. I've been following you on your trips to Africa too, and I was a little envious because I really wanted to go down and meet and greet you, but that was not possible. But I've talked to the Blantons, is that correct?
Yes.
About taking a trip down to South Africa, and we're definitely interested in that marketplace. But again, it's just one of me. We need other responsible people who are looking to make quite a bit of money. Let me give you an example of how much this market offers us right now. We might be looking at about $400 million in the first year alone. I mean, this is really, really big. If I'm getting people calling me from Israel, from the United States government and different places like that, they know what's going on with this food process. There's no other system right now that can grow food the way the Torpedopot does right now. And it's pretty clear. That's why nobody's investing in all this other agriculture. Nobody wants hydroponics. Nobody wants that mess because it doesn't work for the average person. It just simply doesn't work. But yes, thank you, Phil. I appreciate that.
Oh man, sound like you definitely going on the right path, and when you saying millions of dollars, that's a beautiful thing. That's definitely a beautiful thing. But for people like say, they say I don't want to go to the grocery store much either. I want to grow everything at my house. Tell people how they can get the Torpedopot system, where they get it from, so they can stop going to that grocery store so much.
Yeah, I sat outside because I wanted you to take a look at what's behind me. And right now we have hundreds of plants that are growing with no human intervention. There is no way in the world I'm going to go and water all these plants. I don't have the time nor the energy to do something like that. So what we are doing with Torpedopot is that you walk up and you simply put your plant in, you put your seeds in, you set it, and you walk away. Now, if you listen to what I just said, it sounds so elementary. You put a plant in, you set it, you walk away. But I want you to take a step back and understand the amount of work that you're doing when you start planting on your own. You got to buy the soil, the seeds. You got to turn the ground over. You got to do the weeding. You got to do the watering. You got to do everything else. You got to put the fungicides and herbicides. You got to build bulwarks, underground water systems. You got to, constantly stay on top of the water, the system itself. Torpedopot is exactly what it says. Our customers put their plants in, they set it, and they forget it. And it's purely organic. You're not getting any synthetic food out of this. The food you're getting is synthetic. It's not real food. I urge you to stop eating it. With Torpedopot, it's so much easier. You set it, and you forget it.
And people can go to torpedopot.com to purchase, correct?
Yes, thank you very much, Phil. Yeah, they can go to torpedopot.com where they can purchase the planters. They can see how they operate. And Phil, I want to say one last thing. It's a pleasure, first of all, working with you. I want to let you know that personally. I know we don't get a chance to talk, but it's an honor to be a part of what you're doing. And that's why Torpedopot is taking this route a little bit slowly now, because we want to partner with companies like yours Media is a major thing. Without the proper media, I could not come on board within the Black network itself. So I take my hat off to you, and I applaud you greatly. And I'll always be fighting for you and your company for what you're doing. Thank you so much.
Well, we definitely want to thank you, definitely for, advertising with us, because I said this to one of our sisters yesterday that also advertised that a lot of Black companies are afraid to advertise with people that speak Black, really speak it, because they're afraid, I may not be able to get, the people to do business with me. They get afraid of that. You know what I'm saying? So we definitely, thank you for being one of those businesses who are truly, supportive of the Black community, and we definitely want to make sure that we definitely put that out there and let the people know that definitely support Torpedopot. Not only you get some growing your own food, growing your own herbs, like the brother said, that way you have your herbs, you don't need all this synthetic mess that they're putting out there in the stores that's hurting and harming you. But this brother is truly, B1, all the way through. So please give all your dollars to our brother Darral Addison from Torpedopot. So, brother, we definitely thank you for joining us on the show today and letting people know now you have a face behind the advertisement that you've been seeing. Now you got a face. So go over there to torpedopot.com and make sure your person planners and then let him know how it goes for you.
Phil, can I say one more thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll keep it brief. Let me give for your viewers an idea of what we're moving into right now. If one person has the ability, remember I said earlier that 10 planters grew 700 tomatoes. Well, and these tomatoes grew. It also grew 2,000 peppers, first season, second season, third season within the same year. Well, what we're going to do is that we're going to take these planters, and 1,000 people in every state, we're going to give a set of 10 planters to. Those 10 people will grow 700,000 tomatoes total for one state. We're going to do it for all the states in the United States. In other words, what we're doing is that we're pulling in all of these growers together. There could be small mom and pops, your backyard or whatever. When you purchase Torpedopot, you become what we're doing a part of our blockchain. When you make your purchase, you grow the foods that we require you to grow. Your food goes into an agricultural blockchain. You own a part of that blockchain because now you're serving that blockchain. What does that do? When everybody's purchasing or have food now that can be put into an aggregate, you can actually sell these. And so you've opened up a whole brand new business off of each and every one of you. It doesn't require you to do much. Simply grow your food, what you're normally doing, eat what you normally eat, but supply food to the rest of the world. Once that is established, that becomes its own individual marketplace. And what happens? This is the reason why we're talking to Boyce Watkins. That marketplace now starts to explode and become open, and it's open for investments. What started out as maybe 400 million to $1 billion now turns into $1 trillion. The whole concept of growth is no longer you as an individual growing and starting your business and becoming an entrepreneur. Collectively together, we have such a force. The diaspora has such a force that it can do anything it wants, and everybody knows that. The ball is in our court. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Definitely, thank you for joining us today, and letting people know, exactly what you have, going on. So make sure you go to torpedopot.com, make your purchase, today, buy it for your friends, buy it for your family. Brother, thank you for, joining us and, breaking bread with us, this time.
I'll be dishonored if you didn't see me next time you go to Africa. Send me a link.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you've been watching the content, but we have a Kenya trip coming up in November.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I don't know, you signed up with that one. I don't know.
I'll look into it.
You definitely check that out. And they'll love to have you.
Thank you so much, Phil.
All right.